Good morning and welcome to the Rise and Grind Mastermind call. This call was started on September 8, 2016. This is a mastermind group. The mastermind group concept was formulated by Napoleon Hill in his book, Thinking Grow Rich, which was published in 1937. What a mastermind group is a group of like-minded people who come together to accumulate a great fortune. What I mean by this is no one individual can accumulate a great fortune alone. Not one person knows everything. People need other people as far as gaining resources and knowledge to attain that great fortune they want. So even if one person stands out in the forefront, usually they have a team that they go to learn different things from. That's why we always need to be increasing our knowledge and have people that we can call on to ask things like, how can I get better at marketing? How can I get better at networking? Everyone has a mastermind group, whether you know it or not, but it's your go-to on where to go for your knowledge to grow. It's your network. Your network is actually your network. Sometimes it's not how much money you have at this present moment, at this present time. It's who you can go to get that knowledge to increase your fortune. So we do this call live every morning at 9 a.m. After we do the call live, it's posted on SoundCloud, Podomatic. You can listen to us on Google Music and iTunes. So we understand that great fortune is accumulated with the cooperation of other people, and people who join this call and listen to this podcast or the live call are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. You can be a millionaire or an aspiring billionaire or whatever to be on this call or listen to this call. But what we all understand is whatever you give out there in the atmosphere, that's what you give. It's basically like the concept of sowing seed. You get what you put in the ground or what you put in the atmosphere. So today's topic is unconventional thinking. What I mean by unconventional thinking is if you want to make a lot of money at doing something, you need to learn how to do it well. Now, you may think about what you're doing right now. What is it that you do for a living? What is it that you think you do well? If you think you do something well at this particular moment, just think, do you want to get better at it? Are you the best at what you do? Is there room for growth? Can you get any better? So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about unconventional thinking. You think about what you want to do better. Like, I'm currently doing something. I'm currently running a business. But if I'm not a millionaire in the business that I'm in now, apparently it's something I don't know. Because the people who are millionaires or billionaires doing the same thing that I'm doing, they know something that I don't know. So it means that I continuously need to put myself on the growth level to understand that as I grow as an individual, my income grows. As I grow in my education and my learning, all of that as a combination, my business grows. So a lot of people don't understand the two. If there's something that you're missing, typically it's something that you don't know. So if you think of any profession, the people who perform the best are usually the ones who earn the most because they know something that you don't know. So we always need to be on a continuous level of growth on a daily basis. So it's unconventional thinking. Typically, I'll use the daycare business, for example. You have a lot of child care providers. They can do the numbers on if I have a certain amount of kids, I can make a certain dollar amount. Or if I have a certain level of number of locations or franchises, I can make a certain dollar amount. But then you always need to put yourself on a path to learning for increase. And not just increase, but being the best in your industry and being the best at what you do and being the best you as an individual. Not so much as competing with someone else, competing with another individual, competing with another business, but learn the most you can learn in your industry on a continuous basis. Because usually the people who earn more, realistically, usually people who earn more are the people who know more. And when it comes to the business world, very few entrepreneurs know how to create wealth. And when we say create wealth, I'm not talking about just creating money because, sometimes people, poor people or middle-class people, when you make a lot of money, you spend a lot of money. But when I talk about wealth, I'm talking about wealth that doesn't go away. You're making this money. You don't have to spend it all because that wealth is there. The wealth is something that is going to stay there. And what I mean by that is your net worth increases versus your income increases. When I say income, that's the money that you're coming in. That's the money that you're gaining. But your net worth is actually your assets, like the property that you own. If you were to sell your business, how much would you be able to sell your business at? That's what I mean by your net worth versus the income that you make. If you're like most people, basically, when you start a business, you're good at what you do because you attract people. People want your service or people want your product. But being good at just giving something, a product or a service, sometimes it isn't good enough. You have to tweak what it is that you do to make yourself better, to make your business better. You have to get that unconventional thinking. Unconventional thinking is basically some things spark people and they make you more motivated. I'll use the new year as an example. Sometimes when a new year comes around, it gives people that new opportunity, that new day, like the motto of this call, start your day with a vision. So people get excited about the new year and start calculating the days like, hey, this is day 20. This is week number 2 in the new year. I still have time to do this. But as a business owner, as someone who's looking to grow more successful, like the reason why we do this call, we need to be focusing on increasing our learning. Because like this is a mastermind group and the topics that we put out there are something that we're either doing or something that we need to do. A lot of times, increasing your earnings as simple as increasing your learning. What can you learn about the industry that you're in that you don't already know? You have to put on your thinking cap, and you have to think unconventionally, not just doing what everyone else is doing, but get someone else's feedback and find out from your perspective, what is it that would make my business better that I'm not already doing? Sometimes we need to utilize unconventional thinking to take ourselves to the next level. Because being good at just doing something, sometimes that just isn't good enough. We have to execute the basics of building, but also wealth building in our business and everything that we do. I mean, it's just like imagine playing basketball without knowing the fundamentals of dribbling, passing, shooting. I mean, you can't get rich playing the sport if you don't know all the fundamentals of it. Just like I used that example of basketball, that's with any industry. If you don't know the fundamentals of marketing, if you don't know the fundamentals of networking, if you don't know the fundamentals of what you should see when you go to someone's website, doesn't mean that you have to know it all today, but write it down on a list and position yourself to be in a position of learning. It's just like knowing the fundamentals of money. A lot of people can earn money and spend money just as quick as they can learn it. But when you can earn money and you can learn concepts on how do I create value, how do I create wealth, how do I triple my income, quadruple my income, usually it's because you learned something new. You learned something more interesting to keep yourself valuable. If you already own a business, sometimes the biggest misconception when you talk to business owners is that they already know a lot because this is what they're currently doing. But when we're talking about unconventional thinking, what I'm talking about is opening yourself up to learn something that you don't already know. Sometimes it's not what we know that hurts, that it's not what we're trying to learn that hurts us. It's what we already know. We have to get outside of, I know this because I'm doing this. Oh, I already know how to do that because I've done it for 2 years, 6 years, 10 years. This is what I do on a consistent basis. Sometimes you have to unlearn what you already know to make yourself more successful. Because if you're not already a millionaire doing what you do, then it's apparently something that you don't know. So is there anyone else out here on the call who wants to talk about unconventional thinking?
Yes, good morning. This is Randolph, Mapp Jr. Thanks everyone for tuning in to the call. Unconventional thinking. While you were talking, I was thinking about this passage that says, my people perish or my people suffer because of their lack of knowledge. And, I like what you were saying, you learn more, you earn more. I'm actually en route right now to meet up to continue learning outside of, the educational classroom setting, because I want to know what I need to know to be business owner in the particular business that I'm trying to grow in, to learn, And so, I really don't, me personally, I don't have a problem asking, but I do have a problem sometimes actually like receiving the feedback that I get a lot of times, because I might have this notion of what I think, because I'm pretty smart, but if I was that smart, heck, I would be a little further along than I am, and then just talking to people who are successful, they continuously go to classes, seminars, meet with other people that are doing better with them, asking them what's going on, what's the latest, technology going on in this field, or, how can I save money in this area, or, how can I get this tax cut, or things of that nature. And, these, like my uncle, for example, this guy, he's pretty loaded, but he stays in the classroom of learning. And, I just, admire that, because, he's really giving me the blueprint on, if, you don't really have to, you can ask, and it's good to talk to people, but while they're talking, they're giving you, bits and pieces of what it takes to be successful. And so, like I said, I'm just implementing this into my life, today, okay, I got one meeting I'm about to go to. Later on this week, I'm going to meet up with another friend who's pretty successful at what they do, that I'm looking to, grow this business. And I want to find out, okay, what I need to know, pick their brain, so that I can, bring that back to my group. And, we see if we can implement that or employ any of those tactics within, what we have going on. But it's very important that, especially from the perspective, that I be, more open-minded and more welcoming to feedback. Because, for a prime example, I'm not, I know words are carriers, but computers just aren't my thing. I was trying to do something last night, and I got pissed. And, once I got, I think, even a little more upset, for some strange reason, the process went through working on the computer, and thank God for that. But, I know that I need, a booming website. Like Timeka was saying, do I need to know everything? No. But the people that I'm about to talk to, while they're designing it, I can go online and have somebody else do it. But I want to see what goes into the process of developing this, so that I know for myself, because I'm a pretty quick learner. I just need to see, or, you need to kind of point me from A to B to B to C, and maybe when we get to, LMN, I can take it from there, but it's very important, like Timeka was saying, that I get at least some fundamentals of the internet, of how to start a business, of how to grow my money, and how to spend my money, how to build my credit. It's very important that we, as a people, if we plan on being, productive and successful at no matter what it is, that we do begin to start thinking unconventionally, and to just be open-minded and receptive, again, to the feedback that you will receive. Because I know from my perspective, when I hear things that I've never heard before, it is foreign to me, and I have a tendency to knock it. And in the long run, all I'm doing is not even in the long run. In the now, I'm actually knocking my progress from, being the most successful me that I can. Great topic, Timeka. I'll turn it back over to you, or anyone else who'd like to speak on the topic.
All right. One thing I want to talk about in reference to unconventional thinking is a lot of the times we feel like when we start something, it needs to be successful, immediately. If we do this, which is sometimes the way we live life. We feel like if we do a certain consistent thing, we're going to get this certain result. But what we always need to understand is we always need to be on a continuous path of learning, and we need to make sure not just the outside is working good, but the inside. Because the invisible is the thing that makes the visible, whether you want to believe it or not. The fruits that a tree produces, You can't do anything with the fruit that's already on the tree. But what you can do is make sure the soil is good, plant your own tree, make sure it's well fertilized, and it's basically like sowing seed. What you give is what you get. So sometimes when you do something, it's not just about the business. It's not just about the person. It's about finding out the fundamentals that, that you are lacking, to find out what you need to add to your life, to find out what you need to do to grow. When we do this call every day, we're doing it to make ourselves more successful, to find out what kind of skills can we either get or what kind of skills can we give to someone else that someone else may be lacking. Just think about it. If your business is struggling to maintain a cash flow, it's something that you don't know. So a lot of times I hear people say, well, I need a mentor. I need someone in my circle who's already made $1 million. So we have people who've made millions of dollars who write books and put these books in a library. They go on YouTube and they create a channel. And you want a millionaire to mentor you, they are mentoring you. Because all you have to do is something as simple as pick up a book. All you have to do is listen to their book in the audio format to the point that you don't even have to read it. All you have to do is press play. All you have to do is get your smartphone, go on YouTube, and they have series of videos that they're teaching you from how to think different. Sometimes it's not what we do, it's what we believe. If you don't believe, if you pray and you have a relationship with God, that you're going to see phenomenal results, then praying every day with no faith is going to take you nowhere. So one thing that you have to remember, that if you want a mentor, are you going to believe what this mentor tells you? Are you going to believe what this mentor says do? And if you do it, it's going to be the truth. So what I suggest is always everyone should have mentors. And what I say by that, you may not see your mentor physically, but you may read your mentor's blog on a consistent basis. You may go and backtrack from the first book that your mentor wrote, and you may listen to every audio book that they have out there that's teaching you how to mentally think wealth and physically get wealth. So it's very important that you don't have to go to school and get a PhD in a certain field, because that will lead you to nowhere land 9 times out of 10. If your goal is to create wealth, if your goal is just to get as much book knowledge as you want, then yeah, I would suggest someone go to school and take humanities courses, art courses, and all these courses to get a degree. But sometimes we have to specifically hone in and ask ourselves, what do we want? We have to realize that a lot of the technology that's out there is based on what people wanted, not based on that smart individual that says, hey, how about I create an app where a person can press a button and go wherever they want to go? Realize that, for example, Uber, when you're talking about the app Uber, these things were created because of the need and the want. People can sit in a room and say, wow, wouldn't it be cool if there was a way for us to heat up our food by pressing a button versus waiting forever and putting something in the oven? Things come in this world due to a need. Smartphones are getting more interactive due to a need. Not necessarily there's just one person that's just the big brain of all things. Anything in this world can be innovated based on a need. So when we talk about mastermind group and what you want, sometimes it's not necessarily that person that's a go-to know-it-all. It's you saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool if I went to your website and I could get your product or service from your website without talking to an individual, because I don't like to talk to people? Or wouldn't it be cool if we could do this or do that? That's thinking outside the box, using our imagination, innovative, creative skills. And when you make it to a certain level, that's why it's no surprise that people write books on, the growth that they've created based on networking and talking to other people. Because sometimes it's as simple as that. Not thinking that you know it all, or not thinking that you can know it all, but getting consistent feedback from people in your mastermind group to make you grow and make it better. Because sometimes a quick question is, why do you have this going on? Don't take it as a negative critique. Take it as, well, how can I make this more innovative? How would it be easier for you to buy my service? Well, is it better for you to be able to call me, buy it online, to type your credit card number in from my website? It's very important that we open our minds up to learn new things to make us successful. Robert Kiyosaki, he wrote that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He says if your business isn't earning at least $250,000 a year, there's something you don't know. And he uses that same example. If your business isn't earning $100,000, $100 million, it's something you don't know. Every step in life that you're in, think about when you were 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, everything that we go through, we're learning something, we're growing. So it's the same way with your business. If you're not there yet, it's something that you don't know. Always remember that concept. Every master was once a disaster. So if you haven't went through a period where you had something that you would consider a failure, then you haven't really learned much. You haven't stepped outside your comfort zone. Because when you step outside that comfort zone, then that's when you realize, wow, I don't know everything. But based on what I've done, I know what I've done, whether it was right or what was wrong, and it was leading me into a direction in which I need to go. Realize that there's people who failed 14 times in their business. They went bankrupt 3, 4, 5 times. So some people might lose $1,000 and they say, well, it wasn't meant for me to work for myself. Some people might lose, I would rather lose $1,000 than to lose $1 million. So is there anyone else out there on this call that would want to talk about unconventional thinking before we wrap it up? All right. Well, I want to thank you for joining this call. Make sure you start the day with your affirmations and meditations. Give yourself some you time. Focus on how you want this day to go. Visualize how you want your day to go. Imagine how you want your day to go. But also leave room for better. That's very important, I feel. Make sure when you say your affirmations, you start your affirmations with I am the head and not the tail. I am successful. I am strong. And I want to thank you for joining this call, and have a nice day.